Nadia, and let's talk about books. Taylor Swift just announced that she's gonna re-release her sophomore album Fearless, and she just released Love Story, her version. The month couldn't have been better. I'm a big Swiftie. I've loved Taylor and I followed her career and her music for over 10 years, which is insane. The first time I listened to Love Story, I think I was like 10, 9. It's just insane that I'm 22 now. And I'm still here, and I will forever be here because she is just my queen, and I'm so happy that she now gets to own her work. So I'm gonna be recommending some books based on Taylor Swift songs. So this is if you like this Taylor song, you're gonna like this book, Folklore edition. We're gonna start with Volker, and if this goes well, probably with Evermore and maybe with all her albums if I read enough books. If you like The One by Taylor Swift, you're gonna like The Assassin's Blade by Sarah J. Maas. When I think about The One, I think about this kind of moment in life when you look back and you're like, oh, you know what, we connected, we were good together. I really wish that you would have been the one. This moment where you reminisce about something that happened in your past and that you just can't get over, even though you're now in a good place. The Assassin's Blade is a prequel for Throne of Glass by Sarah J. Maas. In the Throne of Glass series, we follow Selena Sardoufin, who is an assassin in this kingdom of Indivir, and she's incarcerated right now. In the prequel, we follow her before she's incarcerated, and the characters and stories that make her the person that she is at the beginning of the Throne of Glass series. I don't think I can speak too much about the Assassin's Blade without giving spoilers. If you've read Throne of Glass, you know it's gonna fit. My recommendation is to read Throne of Glass, Carol Midnight, and Air of Fire, and then jump into the Assassin's Blade. If you like Cardigan, you're gonna like Daisy Jones and the Six by Taylor Jenkins Reid. I talked about Daisy Jones and the Six in my last video, so if you're interested to know what my reads of 2020 were, please check that out. I'm gonna leave it down below. Daisy Jones and the Six follows the creation, the rise and the fall of the band The Six, and also it's their incorporation with Daisy Jones, who was also a singer at the time. It's set in the 70s and it's all about the music. Cardigan is a song that really captures the moment you feel like you're in a toxic relationship, that no matter how much you know this person wasn't good for you, you kept going and you had the faith that this would change, that this romanticization of the relationship that you had is gonna come to be true. It's about yearning, truly. Yearning what you already had or what you thought you had, and that is captured perfectly in Daisy Jones. I really like how Taylor Jenkins, writes about the women in her stories. I think they're very complex and very real. And with Taylor's Cardigan, I think we also see that. This state of mind in which we try so hard to cling onto something, and even though we feel like it's running out of our hands like sand, we try to capture it and leave it with us because we know how good it can get. It has very Fleetwood Mac vibes, so if you're into that band, like you should, you're gonna really like it. If you like The Last Great American Dynasty, you're gonna like The Seven Husbands of Evelyn Hugo. The Last Great American Dynasty really has this big dick energy in women, and that's what Evelyn Hugo is all about. Evelyn Hugo is an actress in the 50s, and we follow her through her life and how she overcame all these stereotypes and all these prejudices that people had against her being in Hollywood. How she built her career and then it fell and then it came back again, and the relationships that she had. Evelyn Hugo is a woman that really fights for what she wants, and she gets it, and she's unforgiven and fearless, and she doesn't care what people think about her, and she makes choices based on what's good for her and the people around her, the people that she loves, and she is unapologetic about the people that she may hurt to get what she wants. And even if that is not the best quality in a person, I think It's something that we should see more in women. We are constantly apologizing for just being us, for just taking a space in this world. And the last great American dynasty truly captures that we shouldn't. People are gonna say that everything is our fault, but that doesn't mean it is. I think it's a book worth reading for women. If you like Exile, you're gonna like The Folk of the Air by Holly Black. Listen, it's the obvious answer, but it's also right. If you don't know about this book at this point, I really don't know where you've been, because that's what everyone's been talking about for the last 3 years, and they should. I was really excited by The Cruel Prince when it came out. I read it so fast. Same with The Wicked King and The Queen of Nothing. You have to get to The Queen of Nothing to really understand the similarities with Exile. I promise you it's worth it. If you like enemies to lovers, you're gonna absolutely love this book. For this song, I'm also gonna recommend You Deserve Each Other by Sarah Hoggle. In this story, we follow Naomi and Nick, who are soon to be married. They've been together for a long time and they are perfect for each other. He is very handsome and he understands her, and he remembers her orders, and he's very sweet with her, and she absolutely hates him. She's tired of him and she wants out of the wedding, but she can't because whoever ends the engagement is gonna have to pay for the bill. She soon realizes that Nick has been faking his contentment too, so they started this war of just poking on each other and seeing who ends up paying the wedding. I choose this story for this song because Naomi and Nick are what I think would be the before of Exile. Exile is this song about, you know, we were together but you fucked it up. I was giving you all the signs that we were not happy. I was not happy. We weren't what we were supposed to be. And I think Naomi and Nick are just a step behind that. So I think it's a perfect prequel to what Exile is. So if you're not into The Folk of the Air by Holly Black, you can read You Deserve Each Other. If you like My Tears Ricochet, you're gonna like If We Were Villains by M.O. Rio. In If We Were Villains, we follow Oliver, who was just released from a sentence of 10 years in prison. As soon as he is released, Oliver is interviewed by the same person that put him in jail, a retired detective that wants to know what actually happened. We follow Oliver and his 6 friends who are studying Shakespeare in a prestigious art school. Through the story, we see the parts that these 7 friends usually play: the hero, the villain, the temptress, the ingenue. And when one of them is found dead, they all have to prove that they did not do it. And yes, I almost sang the song. The pace and the mood that the story has, the way it was written, is so beautiful, and it truly fits the vibe of My Tears Ricochet. If you like Mirrorball, you're gonna like The Invisible Life of Addie LaRue by B. Schwab. I had a hard time connecting Mirrorball to a book. Mirrorball is about this need to show yourself to people, not to prove yourself, but to be like, hey, look at me, I'm still here. I'm doing whatever I can to be noticed by you. So in a Mirrorball, you can be reflected too, and it can show you different parts of yourself. And the similarity that I found with Addie LaRue is that she lives through almost different lives. Addie LaRue follows a young girl that was born in the 1700s. She's not keen to the idea of marrying and just having children and that being her whole life. She really wants to do more. To do so, she prays to the gods that answer after dark, and she is given a curse. She is given immortality. She will not be harmed, she will not be hurt, she will not be sick, she will not age. But the curse also entices that she will not be remembered. Everything changes when Addie finds a boy that actually remembers her. So I think in a way Addie is a Mirrorball because she reflects a version of women that I hope we can accomplish. If you like 7, then you're gonna like Aristotle and Dante Discovered the Secrets of the Universe by Benjamin Alire-Sainz. The vibe and I just knew that it reminded me of 7. 7 is a song that really revolves around friendship, and Family and friendship is one of the main topics in Aristotle and Dante. So Aristotle is going through this teenage drama in his house, and Dante is this weird, amazing kid that really has a way of viewing the world. And when they meet at a pool, they unravel this friendship that goes through many years, and we see them grow and become attached to each other and discover so many different things about them and about the world and about society. And it's written in such a beautiful way that you just can't stop reading. It's also a short book, and I really like the Latin representation in this book. We don't get to see that as much. Some stuff was a little wonky. You know, there's always a word or a phrase that you're like, I don't think we say it like that, but I'm gonna give it to you. But I really liked it. So, yeah. If you like August, you're gonna like Cersei by Madeline Miller. In Cersei, we follow the story of the goddess Cersei, who is the daughter of Helios, and how she is cursed and pushed aside to live by herself in an island. The way that I see the similarity with Cersei and August is that with Cersei, we learn throughout the book how a woman grows. You know, this happens in many years. But we see Cersei grow from this really naive girl who tries to help someone to this woman who really knows how the world works, especially for women. August is about a girl that's too naive to get rid of this toxic relationship and situation that she's put herself in and that also stumbled in, and about this growth that comes with realizing and being like, I'm this girl that you only met behind the mall, that you only used, and I'm gonna learn from that. If you like This Is Me Trying, you're gonna like It Ends With Us by Colleen Hoover. I was shocked. I cannot tell you how shocked I was. This Is Me Trying is a song about overcoming an addiction. It Ends With Us follows Lily, who recently moved to Boston and who comes from a small town in Maine. She doesn't have the best relationship with her parents, and her father recently passed away. She meets this handsome neurosurgeon called Ryle. Ryle is arrogant and handsome and cute, and he really has a soft spot for Lily and treats her right. But he has a no relationship kind of rule, like he really doesn't want to date, so Lily has to go around that and try to understand how the relationship is gonna work. At the same time, she's reminiscing about her old friend and almost boyfriend, Atlas. Then, as her relationship with Ryle is going amazing and swimmingly well, Atlas reappears and changes everything that Lily thought she knew. I thought this book was a simple love triangle, but it's so much more than that. It's a very impressive book. If you like illicit affairs, then you're gonna like History Is All You Left to Me by Adam Silvera. The exact moment in the song that I choose to make this connection was the bridge. When I tell you that I scream that shit, I do. History Is All You Left to Me is a story that follows Griffin, who recently found out that his ex-boyfriend, Theo, died. Theo had moved to California and was living a different life and with different people, but Griffin always thought that Theo would come back to him. And we follow the story of how Griffin is trying to get the pieces together of what he was, because he thinks that there's more to it than he knows. And the only person who's willing to help him is Theo's last boyfriend, Jackson. It makes you think a lot about the decisions that we make and the people that are around us and the romanticizations and the ideas that we have of what life is going to be like. The bridge is very about, how could you do this to me? Like, look at the person that you left behind, the person you destroyed. And even though Theo probably didn't mean it, when he died, he left Griffin by himself to be this destructive version of himself. It's a book that I think you have to look at carefully. If you like Invisible String, you're gonna like A Court of Thorns and Roses by Sarah J. Maas. Don't Come For Me. If you haven't read it, A Court of Thorns and Roses is a retelling of Beauty and the Beast, and we follow Feyre, who is hunting for food for her family because they're starving. And she accidentally kills a fairy. Because she killed it, another fairy that's the lord of a fairy court comes for her and kidnaps her. So romantic. I know ACOTAR is not everyone's cup of tea, and I respect it and I understand it. The last book was not my favorite. Definitely had a lot of issues that I hope are resolved in the book that's coming next week. But I really think that the romance that we follow in the books really have a connection with Invisible String. For this song, I also thought about Percy Jackson and the Olympians and the Heroes of Olympus. If you haven't read Percy Jackson like me last year, then I hope you read it. If you like Mad Woman, then you're gonna like Throne of Glass by Sarah J. Maas. One of the first women that I really thought, wow, this bitch is hardcore, is Selena Sargentine from the Throne of Glass series. Throughout the series, we learned so much about Selena, and the picture of the book, the picture of the plot becomes a lot bigger than what you see in the first two books. I think even from the first book, we can see how everyone thinks Selena is a mad woman and how everyone wants to tear her down, but she just won't allow that because she's just too damn strong and resilient. If you like Epiphany, then you're gonna like the Percy Jackson series. Percy Jackson is a boy who finds out that he's a half-blood. That means one of his parents is a Greek god, and he goes to this camp that's called Camp Half-Blood to train with other half-bloods, and he goes into these missions. I think it wasn't fair for the whole destiny of the universe, of the world, to be put on this young boy's shoulders. I think I connected because we're both in an overwhelming situation that really shouldn't have happened. If you like Betty, then you're gonna like To All the Boys I've Loved Before by Jenny Han. You're gonna probably think that it has nothing to do with the other, but I think Betty is a song that's really adolescent. It's a very teenage song. To All the Boys I've Loved Before follows Lara Jean, who is a teenager who wrote some letters to all the past loves that she's had throughout her life, and somehow the letters got sent, and then she has to deal with having to face the people that she wrote the letters to, and it's so romantic and light and funny, and I really loved seeing Lara Jean grow throughout the books and see her blossom from this really shy girl who just didn't want to make such a mess of things to really be bold and be like, I want this and I'm gonna get it. If you like peace, you're gonna like A Darker Shade of Magic by B. Schwab. Kel is one of the last in Terry. He has the ability to travel through parallel Londons, the red, the white, and the grey London. Because of his ability, he's the ambassador of the Moorish Empire, which resides in red London, and he travels to white London and grey London, which doesn't have magic. Kel unofficially is also a smuggler. It's illegal to smuggle and take things from different Londons and bring them to red London, but he does for a price, and he soon discovers that he has made a mistake. After a bad exchange, Kel has to run to grey London and hide, and there she bumps into Delilah Bard. Delilah is a thief that steals from him and then saves him from death. And when she realizes who he is and what he can do, she forces him to take her to Red London. The first thing that came to my mind when I hear, would it be enough if I never give you peace? It goes both ways for two of the characters, because they're all very complicated and powerful, and they all have their different goals in mind, and they don't always align with the others. So it's this moment of, this life that I'm living, this person I am, would it be enough for you? Last but not least, if you like Hoax, then you're gonna like Me Before You by Jojo Moyes. Hoax is a song that for me means of having this relationship, this love that you just can't get over. Hoax is a song about wanting an explanation of why did you hurt me this way? Why do I kept believing that you're gonna change, that you were gonna change? And no matter what signs you have seen, you still believe there's a slight chance. And I think it perfectly describes the relationship between Louise and Will. It's a book that really hurt me and a movie that I really love watching because it's so beautiful, but it really hurts. And I think that describes Taylor's songs. Like, they really hurt you, but you just can't stop listening to them. So these were my, if you like this Taylor Swift song, you're gonna like this book recommendations. Please leave in the comments your recommendations for each song. I hope you have a wonderful day, a wonderful week, and a wonderful month. Please like this video, subscribe, leave a comment, click the button for more of me and my books. Sharing is caring, so please share this video if you have friends that love books and that also love Taylor Swift. I'm gonna leave you my socials, my Twitter, my Instagram, and my Goodreads. Here I rant, here I post pictures, and here you can see what I'm reading. I'm gonna leave you the links down below. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope I see you soon.